Hello and welcome. Hollywood's a tough place for those looking for a break, but this actor decided he would set his sights high in spite of his physical size and made his mark as a unique member of the film industry. This week on 101, meet character acting star Deep Roy. The blue blood of India's Maharaja royalty runs through his veins, but this diminutive star, born in Kenya, targeted his aspirations to being among the acting royalty of Hollywood. Deep Roy, born Mohinder Purba, got his start performing in Britain, where his family spent considerable sums of money securing him medical treatment for his stunted growth. From the comedy clubs of London, he made his way through television to blockbusters on the big screen, often playing costumed character parts, until the quirky and creative director Tim Burton decided to cast him very visibly as the Oompa Loompa alongside Johnny Depp in the 2005 version of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. In spite of his physical size, Deep Roy remains a big personality who continues to challenge Hollywood for interesting and diverse roles. Deep Roy, it's a delight to catch up with you.
Thank you for having me, Riz.
It's a pleasure. Now, you've done so much work, actually. You've been in so many movies. People see you, and I'll get onto some of those roles where you're actually, you know, very much a character actor there. But often you've been doing these blockbuster hits where you're in a costume, like the Star Trek 2009 blockbuster hit. You were Scotty, the engineer's companion, and you're stuck behind a costume. Does it ever frustrate you?
It doesn't frustrate me, but then again, like, you know, to work in a costume, it makes you work doubly hard because of the expressions, that whether it comes out or not, but you have to.
In terms of the roles you choose and the roles that you're offered, how picky are you about what you take?
I'm not picky person because work is hard to come by, you know, and everything you get, you just take it. Like Ron Moody used to say, never refuse work. Always take. If you start refusing work, you'll be forgotten pretty quick.
Now, Hollywood isn't known for being particularly original in its casting, and it's changing, I know, over time, but they've always stereotype cast people, you know, and in that respect, do you find that you get frustrated with, or at least concerned with the kind of roles that you're offered?
You do, son, you know, you get frustrated because writers have got a tendency to write for an average person, and you have to either develop something for yourself or create something for yourself and get some glossy parts to be written, to be tailor-made for one, especially for me. And writers don't have a tendency to write for a person like me.
Well, I mean, we've been talking off camera before we started rolling, and you're a wonderfully vibrant, energetic, very witty person. And it's one of these things that perhaps, you know, you don't get a chance to express in movies because of these kind of roles. Are there any particular roles you wouldn't take?
No, I would take whatever it comes, you know, and I don't know what roles you're talking about. I don't know, you know.
Are there, I mean, for example, you know, sometimes people are concerned they won't take a role that's got a strong religious connotation because they're worried they might offend or something that might put them in a bad light.
I would take anything that is thrown at me, but then again, I don't like people talking about he's a midget, he's a dwarf, and those terminologies. I don't like that.
It has to be respectful.
Exactly, it has to be respectful.
In your opinion, Deep, what makes a good actor? What separates the good actors from the sort of the average ones?
A good actor, you know, you got to be natural. You know, acting comes naturally to you, and you have to be yourself, natural. You know, and acting, it cannot be taught. I know there are schools that people teach how to be a good actor. You know, everybody wants to be a good actor. Nobody's going to say he's going to be a bad actor.
That's true.
So.
Let's see how you got to where you are now. You were born in Kenya, in Nairobi, actually, of Indian origin, out of Kenya, and you're actually descended from the Maharajas in India as well. You actually have a royal lineage, you're royal blood.
Yes, you know, we researched my nephew who lives in Switzerland, and he works in Switzerland, and we did a family tree. This is going like 26, 29 generations back, and there's two brothers that came from Afghanistan. One was called Maharaja VINEPAL, that they came to India. That's how my family descended from. Yeah, they call me that I've got blue blood, but every time I look at my blood, it's all red.
Should I call you Your Highness?
You can call me Your Highness, but you don't have to, you have to kneel down, if you want to call me that. By all means, no, I'm just joking.
What was your childhood like? Tell me about that time in Nairobi, the early years.
My childhood was great. I had a very, very happy childhood, but I had such a terrible time at school, because kids are kids. They're very cruel, but then again, I overcame that because my dad spent a lot of money on me to make me grow taller.
Tell me about that.
I was 3'9" when I started taking these tablets, and I took it for 10 years. I grew up to be 4'4", and I told my dad when I was about 16 years old, I said, "Dad, you've done so much for me. I feel if I'm 6'4". And he gave me a big hug. I could see tears in his eyes, and I have never looked back ever since that.
What were the characteristics about your father that brought you so close? Tell me how he's influenced you, or how he influenced you.
My dad was a pretty successful businessman, and he inspired me. He always used to say to me, "Be nice, you got nothing to lose." And inspirations come within yourself, and by looking at other people, by looking at other creative people that have created stuff, it inspires me to see other people. That's what inspires me, to be inspired.
What about your mother? How did she influence you?
My mother was she never had a professional job. She brought all. We were 6 in the family. I know we always call her housewife, but then again they got to doubly work hard, and there's not such thing as a. These days, the world has changed so much. But my mom was pretty cool to bring 6 kids on her own. I think that's amazing.
How were you with your siblings? What kind of, was it competitive? Was it close? How did you support each other?
We are all very close family. We still are close family. My younger brother, who lives in Hawaii, always used to protect me. Always did, and when I was young. And he always did, he always protected me.
How do you think that experience, like you said, school was tough, and children are children, they don't get a real sense of what they're saying and doing and how it can hurt. How do you think that's developed your character? What are the positive things that have come out of that?
The positive things came out of it is, I'm going to say, is that, listen, hey, I got, they didn't treat me right. That made you stronger. And just to tell, hey, size is immaterial. It's how you feel. And I've never looked back, and that's made me even stronger.
Is there anything that's lingered? Is there anything that you've carried with you because of those early experiences?
No, I haven't actually, I don't know, what made me stronger. It made me stronger.
Where did the interest in acting first come up?
It just came, because my dad wanted me to be an accountant.
Quite the opposite.
Exactly, I know, and then I went to the college in London, studying accountancy. I'll fail in taxation, I'll pass taxation, I'll fail in company law. I said, man, this is boring. Who wants to sit behind the desk and do 9-to-5 job? I said, I want to be an actor, a comedian. And my dad was so upset. And then he said to me, that's not a good business to be in, because there's no security. You learn 3 things, Dad. Dad said to me, you learn to drink, to gamble, women.
Did you?
He was absolutely right. Sure. There's nothing wrong with that.
What were the first steps then into acting for you?
The first thing I did, I went to the drama school. We're just talking about that, you know, and I was there for about a year, which taught me the basic stuff, you know, to be natural, to be, you know, and that's how I started. And I did a little bit of stand-up comedy, not so much of stand-up, you know. I mean, hey, I'm only 4 feet 4, you know.
Hey, it's what you feel, remember? You
Exactly. And that's how I started. And then I did the commercials, and then did the movies, and hopefully one day I'll produce, which I'm working very hard towards that too.
I'll ask you about your other projects in a moment. What did you find the most challenging thing about acting, though? What was it that challenged you the most?
Challenging is, for me, is to keep the head above your water, which I've done so far. It's challenging. It's challenging is like it's to create work for yourself, you know, to get busy, you know, to keep busy. Because I said, you know, half the time the actors spend on the sofa. The other half they spend auditioning. And you audition, you don't get it, you get disappointed. Then you say, well, there's another day, pick up yourself again.
Well, Deepa, I have many more questions for you, more one-on-one when we return. Don't go away.